myself Dr. Pallavi Rai, and today I am going to teach you the unit 4 of Pharmacognosy BP 405T. This unit has been divided into two slots. One part deals with the role of pharmacognosy in various systems of medicine, while the other part deals with the different phytochemical substances present in plant materials. So, in the first unit we are going to start with the role of pharmacognosy in allopathy. So, this term allopathy, you must have heard it many times that people say that whether you prefer allopathic medicine or homeopathic medicine or naturopathic medicine. So, what does first of all this pathy means? So, pathy actually means a disease or a suffering, and the prefix which we add to it, whether it is allo, homeo or naturo, it means that what is the kind of treatment we are going to give to the patients to treat that pathological condition, okay, the disease or the suffering. So, here allopathy means that when we give any other or different type of medicine to a person suffering from any disease, it is allopathy. So, this is the literal meaning. What I am telling you, this is the literal meaning, the meaning of the words used. Now, what does allo in terms of the principle of allopathy mean? If we deal with it, then allopathy actually deals with the symptomatic treatments of various ailments. For example, if a person is suffering from a headache, so allopathy will be giving a particular drug or a chemical entity which can be synthetic or of natural origin, but that particular moiety will be in its purest form and it will give a opposite effect. It means that if a particular receptor is eliciting the pain in the head, then this particular molecule will have a antagonistic action on the receptor and it will lessen the pain perception of the patient. So, in short, a pure chemical entity when formulated in a medicine and given for the symptomatic treatment, that is known as allopathic medicine. It is not always that it will be only a symptomatic treatment. For example, if it is a type of any infection. So, infection can be any kind of stomach infection or any other type of infection. In such cases also, when a medicine has the capacity to kill those microorganisms. So, here the microorganisms are the reason of the ailment. So, here it is not just a symptomatic treatment, but actually the cause is also getting killed. However, the final fundamental, I would say, the principle of allopathic medicine is that the substances which we are using, they are generally synthetic, semi-synthetic and sometimes natural substances in their purest form, say at least 95 plus purity. Such kind of substances are used to relieve the person from various symptoms and ailments he is suffering from. Okay. Now, if we go at a brief history that how this term allopathy came and how it is being used till date, that we are going to discuss, and then later we will discuss about how pharmacognosy plays an important role in allopathic medicine. So, the first person who has named allopathy, he was Sir Samuel Christian Frederick Hahnemann, who is also the father of homeopathy. So, he had given the two concepts before which people used to think. If we go and read the text of old historians, then you will find that before Hippocrates, people all over the world used to feel that whatever ailments they are going through or suffering, it is because of some kind of curse or some kind of superstitions. So, these superstitions were there earlier, but when Samuel Christian Hahnemann and Hippocrates, the father of medicine, they started teaching or preaching about the various remedies which are available for treatment of the ailments, gradually people understood that it is not any kind of, we should not follow any kind of superstition, but actually these ailments can be treated. If they cannot be treated completely, at least the person can be relieved from the sufferings which he is going through. So, Samuel Christian Hahnemann, he gave two concepts. One concept is the allopathy, where he said that if a person is suffering from a problem, we have to give a substance which has completely different properties, so that it will be able to, like, positive and negative. So, when positive and negative meet, what will happen? They will become null. Okay. So, whatever is the problems, if we give an opposite solution to that or a different solution to that, then it is known as a allopathic medicine. We will be discussing about homeopathic medicine later in the next lectures. So, here you have to understand that when the ailment is treated by some opposite medication, then it is known as the allopathic medicine as per the definition. Now, this system gradually was also known as the Western medical system or the modern medicine, and till date it is one of the most practiced, you can say, type of system of medicine throughout the world. In India also, you can say that around 40% of the people, mainly in the urban population as well as the suburban population, they generally use allopathic medicine. However, in the rural areas or in the you can say the Adivasi areas, still people go for folk medicine or certain other traditional systems of medicine. So, we can say if in India only 40% are there, worldwide if we calculate, a majority of people are in present times using allopathic medicine. And this system of medicine, it is basically depending upon three things. One is the hypothesis, second is the experimentation, and third is the results of the experiment. So, basically this is completely based on scientific, whatever scientific proofs we have, based on that we are going to design that, okay, this medicine if given to a patient, is it able to treat the patient? If yes, then we will be considering it as a medicine. Okay. So, it is basically, I would call it a evidence based medicine. Okay. Evidence based means you have the proofs in terms of scientific proofs, you have the clinical data, you are giving it to the people suffering from problems, even you are generating the data or the reasons that how it is able to you can say treat the patients. Okay. So, that is why we call it evidence based modern medicines. So, here we do the experimentation, the doctors they treat the disease or the symptoms using these medicines, they generate the evidences, and based on the evidences the treatment is decided. However, there are few drawbacks also with this system of medicine, and the first main or major drawback I would say that it has many side effects. For example, in modern times we have many lifestyle disorders like diabetes, thyroid, arthritis. Okay. Now, such problems are to be suffered lifelong. A patient suffers from diabetes throughout his life, he suffers from arthritis throughout his life. So, if he has to suffer throughout his life and he has to take these medicines, these chemicals on a daily basis, on a long term basis, it will definitely affect his vital organs, that is the liver and the kidney. Okay. So, because of this, it is always said that allopathic medicine come along with many side effects. However, there is one phrase which says that every drug which has an effect, it also has a side effect. Okay. Because it is an external entity, you are entering an external entity in your body, definitely it will have some kind of side effect. However, one has to judge that whether these side effects are not that severe compared to the type of relief it is giving to the patient, then definitely we can go forward with the formulations. So, there are regulatory bodies which control these things and decide that yes, these side effects can be acceptable or they cannot be acceptable. For example, when a patient is treated with the anti-cancer drugs, you must have heard that the anti-cancer drugs have lot of side effects. People suffer from severe nausea, vomiting, hair fall and what not. But if we compare with the problem that is caused by the cancer, these side effects are acceptable because the person will at least be treated, okay, because it is a life threatening disease. Okay. So, that is how people judge, the scientists judge, regulatory bodies judge, and after that the decision is taken that whether these drugs can be given to the patients or not. Another issue is that generally these drugs are under patent, they are patented products, because of which their cost is very high, due to which the poor people or the people living in the villages or the rural areas are not able to get these medicines or treatments on a timely basis due to the unavailability. Now, other than this, the drugs which are manufactured, as I told you, they are synthetic chemicals. Sometimes they are obtained from plants, animals or mineral sources. They can also be semi-synthetic derivatives. Okay. So, from a particular substance, like example, if we take morphine and if we do certain changes in the morphine, morphine for example gets converted to heroin. Heroin is a type of a drug, narcotic drug, but it was synthesized thinking that it may have some better effects. Okay. So, such kind of semi-synthetic derivatives have been synthesized which can be used as drug as well. One more example which I would like to give is an anti-cancer agent, that is podophylotoxin. So, this chemical, it is a precursor for the synthesis of a very well known anti-cancer agent, that is etoposide. So, we can develop certain semi-synthetic agents from the naturally occurring substances also. These allopathic medicines are generally formulated in various dosage forms like tablet, capsules, injections as well as any kind of syrups, suspensions, etc. And generally they use all the modern tools for their diagnosis, analysis and surgeries. So, this is completely, you can say, modern day drugs are under the allopathic medicine. Now, if we talk about the role of pharmacognosy in allopathy, so pharmacognosy we have studied in detail what is exactly pharmacognosy. So, this branch of bioscience, it generally helps in the discovery, characterization, production and standardization of these drugs. Okay. So, if we are talking, I will take few examples so that you will be a bit clearer. If I take the example of aspirin, now all of you must have heard or taken in your lifetime the drug named aspirin. Okay. Now, aspirin, it is basically chemically acetyl salicylic acid, and this acetyl salicylic acid is a derivative of salicylic acid. Okay. Now, this salicylic acid was originally found for the first time in a tree named salix tree, in the bark of this tree, and at that time it was identified that the bark of the salix tree has anti-inflammatory property. In modern day, we are using aspirin as an anti-inflammatory. Okay. So, we can say that from a tree only we got the acetyl salicylic acid. So, there are many medicines where the basis or the origin of the drug comes down to a plant. Okay. So, we can discover newer and newer compounds, isolate them and convert them into allopathic medicine. So, that is how we can discover. Secondly, we can characterize, like if we know that we have to manufacture a compound named digoxin, which is found from plants named digitalis. Okay. So, now if we want to isolate digoxin from a plant, we should know that which species of the plant actually gives the digoxin, because we have Digitalis purpurea as one species, Digitalis lanata is one species. Now, the pharmacognosist who has studied well, he knows that Digitalis lanata has digoxin, but Digitalis purpurea does not have digoxin. So, he should be able to identify and characterize those plants which can give us the digoxin, and also understand the structure and chemistry as well as isolation of digoxin from Digitalis purpurea. Okay. Then it will help in the mass production. When on industrial scale you go for production from a natural substance, then a pharmacognosist will help in the production of these chemical compounds. And finally, the standardization of these drugs, like the testing, when we have to perform the testing whether it contains sufficient morphine, or it contains etoposide or podophylotoxin or digoxin or acetyl salicylic acid, that estimation can be done by a pharmacognosist. Now, it is also used by pharmaceutical companies to screen, characterize and produce new drugs for the treatment of multiple human diseases. Like in COVID times, many of the scientists, they started doing the computer aided drug designing studies. What they did, that they took the coronavirus structure, and depending upon the protein binding sites, they developed or searched various plant products which could bind to these protein binding sites of the COVID and enter into the virus and kill the virus. So, such researches go on, and if we have a huge you can say source of these natural substances which can be isolated in their pure form and used as a drug, then they are the best possible option. Naturally occurring drugs are not produced in mass quantities, hence they are studied to develop synthetic biosimilars. See, it is not possible that all the chemical moieties can be isolated. So, many times we need to synthesize them in the lab. For example, many vitamins are also from natural origin, but many of the vitamins can be synthesized in the lab as well. So, if we know the knowledge that how it is being synthesized inside the plant, we will be able to you can say reciprocate or simulate those conditions in the lab also. Producing this compound synthetically allows through modification which increases in bioavailability, altered pharmacokinetics and increased efficacy. So, we can increase the efficacy, study the pharmacokinetics, it means how the drug goes in the body, means what is the body doing to the drug. So, how the drug moves inside the body, for how long it stays in the blood, for how long it stays in the site of action, for it takes how much time to get excreted out of the body, through which route it is getting excreted. All those studies can be done if we know the basic properties of the drug. These modifications in the basic chemical structure of our allopathic compound, which has originated from the plant source, they are basically, they can be either inactive, they can be you can say more active. So, we have to study various moieties and see whether the activity is increasing or it is getting decreased, or even the side effects are getting decreased or not. So, there are many drugs like the anti-cancer drugs, as I gave you the example of, and the cardiovascular drugs which have been semi-synthesized and developed into better compounds for the therapy. So, they are also, you can say, whatever the natural moieties which we get, they are the excellent models to discover the novel drugs. One drug which I already took the example of, digitalis, it is one of the most important medicinal plant, and it is directly used in allopathy medicine as for its cardioprotective action. The importance of these medicinal plants has been understood gradually by many of the countries. There are many diseases which are not treatable, but in today's time many of the natural substances have proven to be helpful in the treatment. For example, the diseases like Alzheimer's disease, HIV, that is AIDS, then the chronic pains and malaria. As I already give you the example of arthritis. When a person suffers from arthritis, he has a lot of pain, and for to combat that pain, he has to take lifelong medicines. If he has a natural therapy, then obviously his side effects will be reduced to a great extent. So, simultaneous advancements in chemistry, biochemistry, biosynthesis and pharmacology has developed pharmacognosy a lot, and this knowledge, which is a combined knowledge, will definitely help in developing more and more modern medicines. When the organic chemistry, if I talk about the organic chemistry or the synthetic chemistry in labs, as it is advancing day by day, we are getting more and more novel compounds which are getting the elucidations, the structure is getting determined, and based on that their activities are getting understood, and we are getting new drugs for the treatment of various ailments. These are few examples of the drugs which have been used as various medicines, and they are well studied for their pharmacological activities. Before I move further, I would like to just discuss one point that, see, we as a humans, or if I talk about the animals, the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom, they are vice versa, they are opposites, and they are there in the environment to help each other. The simple example that we breathe in oxygen and we exhale out carbon dioxide, and what do plant require? They require carbon dioxide and they exhale out oxygen. So, this simple equation tells us that we are somewhere, we are reciprocating each other. Okay, like we eat the products produced by the plants in terms of the grains, the fruits, the vegetables, and whatever the products which are excreted out of our body, that acts as a nutrient for those plants in the form of soil or the humus or the organic content which they take up. Okay. In terms of gases also, we are giving them carbon dioxide. So, we are also helping the plants to grow, and plants are helping us to survive in the environment. So, we go hand in hand, animal kingdom and plant kingdom go hand in hand, and that is why any receptors present in our body will definitely get affected by the chemical constituents present in the plants. There is some kind of, you can say, similarity which will help in the treatment of various ailments. That is why till date majority of the formulations which we talk about, if they are of natural origin, they have been surviving and they have not been withdrawn. However, those moieties which are directly synthesized in the labs without much of the context, which are not considered in context to natural substances, they generally have been withdrawn. Many of them have been withdrawn from the market. So, here are few examples. For example, morphine, codeine and papaverine, which are the from Papaver somniferum, and they are used as a sedative and smooth muscle relaxant. You must be knowing it as a narcotic drug, however, they are a very good medicine also. Quinine and quinidine found from cinchona, they are used as anti-malarial and anti-arrhythmic. Hyoscine and atropine found from datura, they are used as parasympatholytic. Digitoxin and digoxin from Digitalis lanata, they are used as cardiotonics. Reserpine from Rauwolfia, it is used as a hypotensive or a vasodilator. Vincristine, vinblastine from Catharanthus roseus, they are used as anti-cancer agents. So, these agents which I am talking about, these are the phytopharmaceutical agents. In their pure form, they have been isolated from the plants and they have a varied pharmacological activity, and they have been sustaining them since more than 200 years as novel drugs. Caffeine, it is found from Camellia sinensis or even Coffea arabica, and it is a CNS stimulant. Cocaine, it is found from Erythroxylon coca, and it is a anesthetic drug, though this is also known as a narcotic drug. Okay. Ephedrine from ephedra, it is used as a sympathomimetic. Pilocarpine from Pilocarpus jaborandi, it is used as a parasympathomimetic, and it is used for treatment of illnesses in the eye. Ergometrin, ergotamine, ergotoxin from Claviceps purpurea, it is used as a oxytocic, vasoconstrictor or a vasodilator drug. The psyllium, which is known as isabgol, it is used as a laxative. Senosides from sen are used as laxative. Theophylline from Coffea erica are used as diuretic and CNS stimulant, and steroid hormones from various solanum species are used as anti-inflammatory and anti-arthritic drug. So, finally, if we come to conclusion, plants always provide novel molecular structure which play important role for the molecular design and development of noble, potent, less toxic and non-toxic drugs. Example, natural morphine has got analgesic and narcotic effect, but meperidine, a synthetic drug, originates from morphine, basic skeleton is non-narcotic. Plants and animals products give potential biological effect without any undesirable effects. So, plants and animal products can be taken with very ease, and that is why they can be a very important part in the allopathic system of medicine. So, thank you very much for understanding the role of pharmacognosy in allopathic medicine. Thank you.